I have one message to tell people that might help just one person, I'd like everyone to know that no matter how lonely they feel and desperate and pained or abused, that they're not alone and God did not abandon them or let them down. You may not find relief as fast as you want, but it will come, and God will bless you and give you relief because He's always there for you, like He was with me. My name is Kandes Ghasemi. I live in Sterling, Virginia. I'm retired from Circuit Court, where I worked for 30 years. I do a lot of yard work, and we have a big yard. I was born on June the 4th, 1960. Actually, my mother discovered she was pregnant, and she didn't want to be. So I've discovered that she kept trying to injure herself physically. Finally, she had a miscarriage in the kitchen, and I came out on the kitchen floor 3 months early. Much to her surprise, there was two of us. I had a brother. My brother arrived dead. He didn't make it. I weighed 2 pounds, and I was barely alive. She started giving me laudanum, which was a painkiller, a liquid painkiller made from opium. It kept me from crying. It kept me from bothering her. She did have a babysitter, and one day my mother didn't come to pick me up, and so in any event, I don't know, maybe it was my babysitter. They called my mother and said, "Where are you? You're late." And she said, "I'm not coming back. I want you to keep her and to make arrangements to find her new parents, to have her adopted. Do whatever you want. If you want to keep her, you can keep her. If you don't want to keep her, then find someone that will take her. But I'm not coming back anymore." And I was able to, withdraw from the drugs. And it wasn't until that time that she taught me how to walk. One day a knock came on the door, and it was a door-to-door insurance salesman. And she talked to my babysitter, and he saw me through the doorway. And he said, "What a cute little girl. Who does she belong to? Who is this yours? Is this your little girl?" And she said no. And she told him the situation, what had happened. And he said, "My goodness, my wife and I are looking to adopt." They took me home on trial, and things worked out, and they made it final, and they decided to adopt me. And I remember going to the courthouse. I was almost 3.5, and I remember going to the courthouse on the big day. I was going to get new parents. So we went home. So they took me upstairs, and they showed me a room. It was beautiful, and they said, "This is your bedroom." They sat me on the kitchen counter. I remember this. And they said, "Now that you have a new mommy and daddy, you have to have a new name. We have to give you a new name. You have a new life." I didn't know what name to pick. So they went through a list of names. Connie did. And Mary, Susie, Alice. I didn't like any of those names. Kandes, Jennifer. I said, "Yeah, I like that one." Jennifer? No, the other one. Kandes? So they made me Kandes. as I got older, things got a little harsher. The discipline got difficult. And I would have to go out in the yard and get my own switch so he could whip me with the switch. I got slapped and punched and hit with his fist. I got kicked. And I would go to school with bruises on me. It was very common. Everything was good. My mom went bowling one night. She belonged to a league, a women's bowling league, and she would bowl on Wednesday night. And my father came to me. I can't remember what I was doing. I was 12 years old. Summer of 1972, and he raped me, and it was horrifying. And I would go to my bedroom and put my record player on and have music playing, and it was very scary, and it became. I was 13 years old, and I was very desperate, and I tried to kill myself one night because I was trapped. Oh boy, the medication really hurt me, but I didn't die. So there I was still alive. I didn't die. I didn't do it right. At 15, I had 3 years of being raped. And I thought I was gonna try suicide again, and only this time I was gonna take more. The first time didn't work. I didn't take enough. And I took the pills one night and went to bed. And much to my surprise, I woke up the next morning, and I was hoping that she would actually take me to the hospital, because then the doctors would find out what happened. That I had taken all this medication. There's no reason why a 15-year-old would take these medications. There has to be a problem, and it would be discovered, and my problem would be solved. But they never took me to the doctors. And I took a butcher knife, and I hid it under my biology book, as if I was studying at the kitchen table, like I normally did. And my mother left, and he didn't wait maybe 10 minutes, and here he comes up from the basement, the rec room. Here he comes. I could hear him coming up the steps. And I stood up as fast as I could, and I turned around and tried to stab him. And he said, don't hurt me. He knew then he had to stop, and he never touched me again. But oh, was I afraid. I was afraid. I was able to get a job at the courthouse when I was 20, and I was able to earn a little money and save a little money. And at 23, I was able to leave the house. I don't have to see him every day. I don't have to live with that fear, and I'll be okay. I started cutting myself because mentally I was losing control. I was getting sick of how I was living. I was getting sick of drinking. I was getting sick and tired of being sick and tired. I had been to AA and Alcoholics Anonymous. It wasn't working for me. I had been married when I was 23 to an abusive husband. He was very controlling, and I was having mental breakdowns, and I had a suicide attempt when I was 27, and he found me in the bathroom, and he took me to the hospital. I spent 4 days in a coma in intensive care. The second time I was in Brook Lane, Bill died, and they notified me that your father is dead, and this is when the funeral is going to be, and we can give you a 4-hour pass to go to the funeral. And I said, no way. No, I'm not going to the funeral. I got out of Brooklyn and I went back to work. And I told my boss I have, what's going on, why I was there, what I did, what happened with my rapes. And I want to talk about it. I want to talk about it to the people I work with so they understand where I was and what happened. And I did. And Hagerstown is a very small place. And news traveled very, very fast. And Connie and Bill realized what I did, and it went public. And all of his friends and all her friends heard it. This friend hears it and tells that one and tells that, and it spread like wildfire. Somebody like Bill? Mr. High Society? And their friends and other friends, they called me a liar. They didn't believe it. For some reason, they must have had some kind of bad argument, and they're not getting along, and she's a liar. Bill would never do that. I was lived by myself for 12 years. I became, really independent. And I had to get my nerve up because I was going to call my mother, Connie, don't like to say my mother. I was going to call Connie and I was going to ask her if she knew anything about this, what Bill had been doing to me when I was a child. And we had a really long conversation, and I kept pushing and I kept pushing and pushing. And did you know anything? You had to know. I gave you all the signs. I gave you all the signs that I was in trouble. And didn't you see this? Didn't you see that? And finally, she said, I'm really getting tired of this. I'm really getting tired of this. Yeah, I knew. I didn't come from much. And I wasn't college educated, like you. And Bill had a pretty good job. Bill is dead. She admitted it. All is good in the world. Yeah. And it was not good at all. I couldn't get it out of my mind. I couldn't get it out of my mind that my mother knew that her husband was raping me, not just once, but for 6 years. She knew it. And I got worse. I needed gas one day, and I stopped at this gas station on the way home that I noticed was a little cheaper than most of the other places. So I hopped out of the car, and I'm left-handed, and I grabbed the left nozzle. I guess that was natural, I'm left-handed. But it wouldn't fit in my tank. There was something wrong. I couldn't get the gas nozzle in my tank. And this gentleman came out to the pump, and he was very nice, and he was very patient. And you have to use the other, very friendly with him. They knew him. They were regular customers, you could see. And, wow, very nice. And I left. And I was a regular. Gas was cheap. Guy was nice. Yeah. And one day he shocked me. He asked me out. I thought he was married, and he was asking me out, and I said, no. I said, I don't date. I went back to work the next morning, and I said, well, girls, I have to find a new gas station. The guy that works at the gas station I used, he asked me out. So on their lunch shift, 3 of them went over to the gas station and checked him out. So they told him, we work with Kandes at the courthouse. They were smart, they had taken a picture of me on their iPhone. And they said, here, Kandes. Oh, Kandes, yeah, now he knows who I am. You work with Kandes. Well, he gave them all free donuts, and he put a special bag of donuts for me, take back to Kandes, and he drew a little heart on the bag. And they came back from lunch. They said, you have to go out with this guy. He's crazy about you. He's crazy about you. You have to go out with this guy. Look, he had donuts for you. No, I said, I'm not going back. That's all I heard. The next day they said, at least go back. If you don't want to go out to dinner, then decent thing to do is just go back and thank him for the donuts. I said, well, yeah, you're right. Okay. So after work, I went. I told him, I just came back to thank you for the donuts. And I said, you know what? I'll go out to dinner with you. And he shows up in a three-piece suit and tie with 24 red roses. I knew I was going to fall in love. And I didn't want to. I liked my independent life. I did not want to fall in love. And I went to bed that night, and he's still on my mind. I woke up about 4 o'clock in the morning, and there's nothing I can do, and I'm completely helpless. And I went on a walk, and I talked to God for about 2 hours. I talked to God, and I said, what are you doing to me? I know that this is no longer my decision. I can feel that this is no longer in my control. It wasn't long after we met, he asked me, what happened to your arm? And I told him exactly what happened, that I did it. I didn't realize that man barely slept for several nights. He was so upset. And he didn't even know anything else. I just told him that. That's the only thing he knew. I didn't tell him anything else. And so he's very sensitive. And I asked him, this name you have, where's that from? I'm from Iran, but don't be afraid. He said, I'm not a terrorist. He said, I'm Baha'i. Baha'i. I said, what's this word Baha'i? And he told me what it was. There's a religion out there that I don't know about, called Baha'i. But he talked to me about it, and it sounded really nice. Equality among all people, which I believed. I believed in equality since I was young. And a lot of the concepts about the Baha'i faith, I already believed in and lived that way. And I told him, well, this is nice because I already believe that. Baha'u'llah is our most recent prophet. I don't believe in that. I was almost believing in it, but now I don't, because there's a prophet that I don't know about. The whole world should know about a new prophet. Somebody else after Jesus, you mean? Yeah. He gave me some information to read. He gave me some books, and I read them. And wow, what? What's this? It has answers to questions I could never get answers to. I had questions growing up, naturally, and I asked Connie and Bill. I asked my Sunday school teachers. I asked Reverend Fisher at church. But nothing made sense, or they would say, don't question it. This is it. These are answers. This is good. I believe. Yep. It's logical. I hadn't had any religion in my life for a long time. So then I became atheist. And then he introduced me to the Baha'i Center. That was a very interesting place because there's no clergy and there's no priests. And I learned a lot. I learned a lot more about the faith. And on occasion, I would go to the Baha'i Center and learn what that was about. I do believe it. That's enough. That's enough for me. I believe it. I believe in this guy Baha'u'llah. I believe he is our prophet. It all makes sense. It's very logical. And I believe, I didn't feel that I needed to be that engaged and going all the time. I went a couple times. I went once in a while. That's enough, 2 years ago, and we went to Jerusalem. And then after we went to Jerusalem, we had scheduled, and we went to Haifa. We had to go, with our suitcases and check into our room and freshen up, change our clothes. And at the very last minute, I took my ring off, and I changed it with the ring I had brought with me. And I put my ring in my purse, and I zipped it closed, and I put this one on, and off we went. I looked in my purse for something, and I unzipped the compartment, and my ring was gone. I take everything out. It's not in there. You have to stop the car. My ring's missing. My ring's gone. What do you mean? It's gone. My ring is gone. I put it in my purse. My ring is gone. We looked in the stairs as we went down the steps, looked outside on the sidewalk, in the parking lot, under the car. You name it, we looked. No ring. Hormuz tells me, and we're walking up the path, and all I can think about is my ring is gone. I can't think of anything else. Mercy. So I had this book, the Hidden Words of Baha'u'llah. It belonged to my mother-in-law, who was the sweetest woman God ever made. She was an incredible woman. Everybody had a little book with them, so I had it. I suppose I should say a prayer while I'm here. I'm just going to open the book, and whatever page it opens to, that's the prayer I'll read. And I said the prayer. Oh, wow. And this feeling got stronger. And that's not like me. I can't even do that today with one single Christian prayer I cannot recite. And I said this prayer perfectly. It was a good feeling, but it was a strong feeling, and it was a presence. You can't describe. I knew at that time, I knew at that moment, I knew what I wanted. I wanted to be a Baha'i. I knew what I wanted. I came out of the shrine and I told Hormuz, I have something to tell you. I want to become a Baha'i. And he started to cry with joy. He was so happy. He started to cry with joy, and that was very emotional. Yeah, and I felt really good about that decision. Really good. It was really phenomenal. The prayer, Cheshmi Barban va Cheshmi Bargosha. Barban yani as alam va alamiyan. Bargosha yani bejamale gotse janan. This book is probably 200 pages long. And I opened this book to page 48, and I was supposed to open it to page 48 and say that prayer. It was connected to the experience I just had with losing my ring. Close one eye and open the other. Close one to the world and all that is therein. That's my ring. And open the other to the hallowed beauty of the beloved. And that's Baha'u'llah. And I realized immediately that that was Baha'u'llah's first lesson to me as a Baha'i. I lost a ring and I found Baha'u'llah. I like to say that. If I have one message to tell people that might help just one person, I'd like everyone to know that no matter how lonely they feel and desperate and pained or abused, that they're not alone and God did not abandon them or let them down. And you may not find relief as fast as you want, but it will come, and God will bless you and give you relief, because He's always there for you, like He was with me.